I spent over a decade in the health and fitness world, and I thought I had it all figured out until I got functional labs done. And that told a different story. I was on a fast track to sickness, not health. That's really when I realized that fitness does not always equal health. And that's when I began my awakening. Now, ultimately, this awakening had been coming for, gosh, 20, no, yeah, about 20 years at this point. I started my journey in the health, fitness, wellness world when I was 13 years old. My mom got me into a bodybuilding gym because I wanted to play football and she knew I needed to get bigger. And I was lucky enough to have the owner of that gym take me under his wing. And I grew up in a really small town, but he showed me the ropes at 13. And at 13, I was starting to get exposed to human physiology. Very minor stuff, but it was exposure to the idea of sets, reps, volume, intensity, the idea of rest and recovery. And then from there, playing football through high school and into college, it was all strength and conditioning focused. So now become performance based. It was being introduced to plyometrics and again, just performance style training. During this time, I suffered a injury to my shoulder, and that led me to getting with a physical therapist. And this physical therapist was incredible to work with because that exposed me to injury prevention and deeper levels of biomechanics. And same thing, he was an incredible mentor to me. We're talking, I'm 17 years old. This man takes me under his arm, under his wing, and decides to show me what real performance looks like, what real injury prevention looks like. So by the time I'm graduating high school, I've already been exposed to multiple training methodologies, multiple viewpoints of the human body. But the other impactful things that happened through my teenage years was witnessing chronic illness and disease in my family. One of them being my father. My father suffers from an autoimmune disease called Reiter's syndrome, also known as reactive arthritis. And while I was in high school, this knocked him out of commission. I mean, he would be laid up on the couch in the middle of the night, barely able to walk, and he'd have to yell my name out, and I'd have to get up in the middle of the night to help him go to the bathroom. And from there, my sister was diagnosed with leukemia while I was in high school, and she battled it for 2 years. She ultimately succumbed to that disease when I was a freshman in college. And these are things that just get imprinted on you at a young age. And needless to say, whether consciously or subconsciously, the reason I am where I am today in the health, fitness, wellness space is because of both the mentors I had through my high school years and also just those visceral life experiences of seeing sickness and disease around me, causing me to ask, what is health really? I'm doing all this performance stuff, but what is health? And that really set me forward on my path when I got into college. In college, my freshman year, I was playing football, I was majoring in music, but I wasn't happy. And I wasn't happy because I knew I wasn't pursuing what I really wanted to do, and that was learning about human physiology, getting my degree in kinesiology and exercise science and physiology and just deep diving into the human body and all the mysteries of it. And this, in combination with my sister passing away, ultimately led to me leaving Lewis and Clark, where I was at my freshman year, because I wanted to pursue something greater. And in talking with my sister in the days before she passed away, she told me I had to live my life and go for what I wanted. And I knew this is what it was about: health, fitness, wellness, longevity, disease prevention, whatever that looks like. And the next 6 years were a whirlwind for me, discovering CrossFit, falling in love with it, getting my CrossFit level 1, becoming a head coach at CrossFit Moxie in San Jose, waking up every morning, going to the gym and coaching or training, trying to become a high-level CrossFitter, going to campus and studying biomechanics, exercise physiology, all kinds of things, just to go back to the gym, train some more, right, and do this. And my life for 6 years straight was every day just eating, breathing, sleeping, and living human performance, human physiology, both in the classroom, but I think more importantly in practice. And we're talking my 20s all the way up to my 30s, more or less. But again, during this time, some things happened. One of the most impactful for me was watching these people come into my gym. They're go-getters, they're high achievers, right? There's a certain archetype to a CrossFitter, very high strung, and they were incredibly fit and continuing to get fit. But I started to pick up on something, is that a lot of these fit people seem to have something underlying going on, whether that was chronic stress, whether that was relationship issues, whether that was they had a six-pack abs, but they had bags under their eyes. Had graying hair at the age of like 35. They had hormone issues. And at the time, I couldn't really put my finger on it. I didn't know what was going on, but I knew something was off. And then it hit me. At the age of 25, I hit a wall. I was training 4 or 5 hours a day, and all of a sudden, I had hormone issues. I had sexual health issues. I had problems with my recovery, injuries, all kinds of things. And it caused me to really look at what I was doing. Was I doing this for health, or was I doing this because I wanted to be a high-level CrossFitter? And I just made a change. I decided I was going to start taking a step back from my training, and I was going to focus on being a professional coach. And my trajectory completely changed. I knew I wanted to be the best coach I could be. I continued my education. I got my degree in kinesiology and exercise physiology. I got more certifications like Art of Breath, Mobility WOD by Kelly Starrett, my CrossFit Level 2, so on and so forth. That ultimately led, though, to me leaving the Bay Area in San Jose, moving out to Austin. And during that time, I fell in love with Olympic weightlifting. I was kind of done competing in CrossFit. I had found Upreach CrossFit, where I'm filming right now, the gym that I now own. But for my own personal side, I wanted to dive into Olympic weightlifting. And that was one of the best things that ever happened to me. I fell in love with the sport, the technicality of it. I got to work under David Griffin at a Texas Barbell Club, and I learned an incredible amount. And to this day, still coaching Olympic weightlifting, actually going to junior nationals next month for one of my athletes, and it's been great. But during that time, again, continued my education, now have my CrossFit Level 3, but I started to branch out. I started to get education outside of the CrossFit world, outside of just the normal exercise physiology world. I got a lifestyle coaching certification. I got somatic work. I got nutrition certifications. I wanted to broaden my horizons to start experiencing health education. And that has led me to where I am today, where, I now own Upreach CrossFit. I had that opportunity presented to me in 2021. And that was really cool because I'd had this dream since I was like 18 to own a gym, to be a professional in this space, and to have that come to fruition literally 10 years later at 28 was incredible. And I've owned this gym now for 4 years, coming up on 5 years. And, but again, along the way, things have happened. People around me have continued to get sick. I've seen so many people coming into the gym continuing to, ask why are they not losing the weight? Why are their hormones an issue? Why are they in pain all the time? And one of my other sisters more recently has started to suffer from an autoimmune disease. And it's just caused me to really look at our healthcare system, at our wellness care system. In the last 3 or 4 years, wellness on YouTube, on Instagram has just blown up, right? But we're still getting sick. People are still burned out on trying to figure out what's wrong with them. They're taking the supplements, they're doing all the crazy fad diets, and it's not working for them. And so I was lucky enough to discover functional diagnostic nutrition, FDN. My fiance is working with a coach who is FDN, and that allows me to facilitate functional lab testing to my clients. And it was the aha moment for me. Now being able to take all the things I've learned over the 12 years inside the gym, combining it with all the things I've done on myself, from meditation practice, philosophy, somatic work, trauma healing now, lifestyle coaching, nutrition coaching, and my more holistic way of just looking at life, puts it into one package where qualitatively we can give that to you, but we back it up with quantitative science, with actual data. We know that the things we're going to work on are what we should be working on, and we can see if it's actually working for you and you're getting better. And so over the course of the 12 years, it's kind of all culminated in where I'm at now. I own Upreach CrossFit, but for my own personal coaching and what I'm really passionate about, this is the next evolution for me. Stellar Health Awakening is what I've been called to. It's my life's purpose to just help you, the individual, live a better life, more meaningful life for as long as you can. And that's what we're here to do. I hope that gives you just a little bit of background on who I am, how we got where I'm at. And if this calls to you, make sure you follow, hit the subscribe button here on YouTube, check us out on Instagram, check out the Substack, check out the podcast, and just send this to somebody maybe who this would resonate with. Thanks, guys. I'll see you in the next one.